Don't you dare be sour! Clap for your world-famous Virtual Stadium Tours guide and feel the power! It's a new day, yes it is! So today we are taking a look around the Rogers Arena. This is the home stadium of the Vancouver Canucks, the NHL ice hockey side. And as always for you, the first fact I have about this stadium, this arena, is its overall capacity. And with many arenas like this around America and Canada, it has a couple of different overall capacities depending on what's actually going on in the stadium. For instance, if there's ice hockey happening in the stadium, the overall capacity is just under 19,000. Whereas if there's basketball happening in the stadium, the overall capacity is around 19,700. Or if there's a music concert or any other kind of event going on, the overall capacity tends to be somewhere around the 19,000 mark. But it actually goes a bit deeper than that because the stadium was opened in 1995 at a cost of $160 million US. But when it was opened, its overall capacity was closer to around 18,500. And so throughout the years, most recently, maybe slightly less than before that, the overall capacity of the stadium has increased and has increased to the point where it is right now. And as we're talking about the improvements being made to the stadium, for instance the overall capacity being increased, we may as well stay on this line because this stadium has actually had a couple of renovations. The first one being in 2006 when a brand new scoreboard, as you can probably see in the video, there's a scoreboard ribbon just below the second tier. As is the way with many arenas like this, that was actually put in 2006 along with an absolutely giant LED screen, four-sided screen in the very middle of the ice hockey rink or the basketball arena, whatever's happening in the stadium at that specific time. And this happened in 2006, I've already said, at a cost of around $5 million US, and that's at Dactonics. They did all of that installation, the big scoreboard, the ribbon, all that kind of stuff was done by Dactonics. But also in 2008, to go along with the new updated scoreboard, the new updated visuals around the stadium, they decided to put a brand new speaker system in, as the current one had been in there since it was opened in 1995 and just didn't cut it anymore. So in 2008, they put in a brand new speaker system. I believe it was several speakers just dotted around the arena, as is the case with many of these arenas, so that if they want to play music or a tannoy or a PA system or anything, it's nice and loud for everybody in the stadium so they can hear it properly. So now let's move on and talk about the naming rights to this stadium for a little bit. And when it opened, General Motors of Canada actually struck a deal for around $18.5 million. It was originally a 20-year deal to own the naming rights of the stadium, and it was called the GM Place, or to some people, the Garage. But they decided to cancel this deal in 2010, and so instead Rogers Communications, a completely separate company, bought the naming rights to this stadium. I've not been able to find out how much they've paid for it, and which is why it's now renamed the Rogers Arena like it is today. But there is a slight exception to that, because obviously in 2010 Vancouver hosted the Winter Olympics, and this arena was used for the ice hockey competition during the Winter Olympics in 2010. And because of Olympic rules, you can't have sponsored arena names as part of the Olympics. So they had to change the name of it completely just for that 2-week period to the Canada Hockey Place. So that's a nice little fact for you there. Just moving on now to another little bit of history about this place. As I've already stated, when it was opened in 1995, it was the home to the Vancouver Canucks, the NHL team. But when it opened, it was also home to the Vancouver Grizzlies, which was an NBA, a basketball side, which is why it has overall capacities for basketball. However, the Grizzlies actually moved out of Vancouver in 2001. They moved to Memphis in Tennessee. So since then, the stadium has not had a basketball team, an NBA basketball team, since they moved out. So it is now pretty much solely a NHL stadium, an ice hockey rink. So now just moving on to some of the other notable events that have happened in this stadium. I'm actually going to list them off in date order. So obviously we're going to be starting in 1995. And on July the 21st, it hosted a WWF pay-per-view In Your House 9 International Incident. On August 29th, 1996, it hosted a Canada-Russia ice hockey match for the 1996 World Cup of Hockey. On January 18th, 1998, it hosted the 1998 NHL All-Star Game. On June 24th, 1998, it was the host arena of the 1998 NBA Draft. On December 13th, 1998, once again the WWF came back to the arena for the pay-per-view Rock Bottom in Your House. On March 17th to the 25th, 2001, it hosted the 2001 World Figure Skating Championships. On October 6th, 2002, Queen Elizabeth II, the Queen of England, she dropped the first ceremonial puck in an NHL exhibition game between the San Jose Sharks and the Vancouver Canucks. On November the 7th, 2002, there was actually a riot in the arena as Axl Rose failed to appear for a show that Guns N' Roses was supposed to be performing. So that actually ended up in a riot, quite a big incident. On January 2nd to January 5th, 2006, it served as the venue for the medal rounds of the 2006 World Junior Ice Hockey Championships. On May 27th, 2007, it hosted the first concert for the reunion of the band The Police. On June 24th and 25th, 2006, it once again hosted the NHL Draft, the 2006 NHL Draft. On September 7th, 2007, all the sevens there, it hosted the Beyonce Experience. I've no idea what that actually was, just by the way. On the 2nd of December, 2007, it hosted the Return of the Spice Girls tour, featuring the first performance of the Spice Girls as a 5-piece in North America, so there were 5 people in that group then. On April 8th, 2009, it hosted the Britney Spears The Circus music show. On July the 4th, 2009, it hosted Green Day on their 21st Century Breakdown World Tour. And then obviously, as I stated earlier, from February 13th to the 28th in 2010, it hosted all of the ice hockey from the 2010 Winter Olympics. On June the 12th, 2010, it hosted UFC 115. It also hosted UFC again on June the 11th, 2011 for UFC 131. On June the 1st, the 4th, the 10th and the 15th in 2011, it hosted the 2011 Stanley Cup Finals. For those of you that don't know, the Stanley Cup is the big award, the Cup Winners' Cup at the end of the year for the NHL season. All of the best teams qualify for it and try and win the Stanley Cup. It's an absolutely giant trophy. I'm about 5'6", 5'7", and I think the trophy is almost as tall as I am, and it's absolutely huge. It's the living embodiment of America in trophy form. Anyway, on September the 29th and 30th, 2012, it hosted the Madonna's MDNA tour. And on January the 11th and 12th, 2013, it hosted Lady Gaga's Born This Way ball. And on November 30th, 2013, it hosted Beyonce's The Mrs. Carter Show World Tour. On June 14th, 2014, once again the UFC came back to town as it hosted UFC 174. On August 12th, 2014, Lady Gaga came back to the arena and performed in a sold-out concert as part of the Art Rave. On October 14th, 2015, it took part in Madonna's Rebel Heart Tour. On March the 11th, 2016, so we're into this year now, it hosted Justin Bieber's Purpose World Tour. On April 19th and 20th, 2016, it hosted Paul McCartney's One-on-One Tour. On April 23rd, 2016, it hosted Rihanna's Anti-World Tour. And on May 14th, 2016, it hosted Selena Gomez's Revival World Tour. But anyway, thank you for listening. That's all I've got for you. Thank you for watching this Virtual Stadium Tours video. If you enjoyed it and would like to see every new video this channel uploads as soon as it uploads them to the interwebs, why don't you press the subscribe button down below this video right now? Goodbye.